All right, so we want to bring in right now Bryan Hobbs, who is the MARTA project manager for the Rapid A line. Bryan, thank you for being here. There is no shortage of attention in a city like Atlanta on infrastructure and on transportation and on hopefully making things more convenient. So thank you so much for being with us today.
Certainly. Thank you for having me.
So Bryan, let's start with this. Atlanta is a city that has no shortage of cars and trucks driving around on the roads as well, and they've got to share that space with the buses. For drivers, what do they need to know to make sure they are cohabitating well with this new MARTA line?
Yeah, so we would want people to know, the red lanes is like your segment pointed out there. The red lanes are dedicated lanes for the buses. So we would want patrons and pedestrians to stay out of those lanes, no parking or no traversing those lanes, because those lanes allow the bus to continue to move freely through those corridors in which we are running. That's just part of it, as well as transit signal priority. You mentioned it as well in the segment that traffic signals designed strictly for the buses to move. So those are two things that we really want the public to know when you're operating in with those buses and see them moving forward.
If somebody is driving in or is parked perhaps even in a red lane when they shouldn't be there, could they face ticketing, towing? Are there going to be penalties for people who do not respect the red lane?
Yeah, so right now, MARTA Police Department as well as Atlanta Police Department will be patrolling those lanes, so you cannot park in those lanes or drive in those lanes when they're solid. There are areas where you can cross the lanes or when you're turning, so those are hashed red areas. So you can see that's a shared lane where you actually turn, but the others you can get a citation for parking or traversing those lanes.
It's called the Rapid A line. Sounds great, sounds fast. What specifically makes this a different kind of bus route than all of the other bus routes that are already in existence in the MARTA system? What makes it rapid?
Yeah, if you think about our other bus routes, they are typically on a schedule. The difference here with the rapid line is that you're expecting to see a bus every 10 minutes at the station you're at. So there's no schedule. You can just walk out the door and expect to see another bus in 10 minutes.
So it's moving quick. It's also, as I understand it, Bryan, it is a shorter route for these bus drivers. It's a more condensed number of stops and number of neighborhoods designed to get people quickly back and forth, correct?
Yes, and yes, that is by design. The being short and being able to quickly hit in a condensed area that maintains that headway for us, those 10-minute headways, and that is by design. You're absolutely correct.
And we're talking really about connecting Southeast Atlanta to the heart of downtown. It is no secret. We got a big event coming to the heart of downtown. And now we're almost counting by weeks, not even by months now. The World Cup is coming to Atlanta. Is this new offering from MARTA part of MARTA's efforts to get the city as ready as possible to move all the people who are going to be here in and out of downtown Atlanta during that major event?
Yeah, you can add this to one of the efforts that we are actually rolling out. Well, we did roll out our new next gen bus network redesign, which encompassed our entire MARTA network for the bus routes. This was added to that, but as part of the World Cup rollout and getting the city ready, this is another option for those patrons to utilize to get downtown.
And you bring up the next gen bus network. That's a sort of rolling rollout, I guess you could say, of this project. Where does this fit in into the broader next gen bus network project?
Yeah, so this project specifically replaced a couple routes that were previously out in our bus network. So with the redesign of the network, this route here came online to replace those routes. So it is actually a part of that. That's why we're rolling out in phases. We rolled out phase one, and we'll roll out phase two later in the fall.
And some people may hear the phased rollout and they'll say, great, any improvement, we'll take it right now. I suspect there may be some other people out there who say, why do it in phases? Why not just roll it out when it is all complete? Talk us through the thinking on that. Why do it in this format?
Yeah, that was a thought as well. But when you roll out an entire network of redesign of the bus network, there are domino effects. And so when you replace lines such as the one that was previously running along the rapid line. You actually have, it affects the drivers, it affects people can get on and get off. So for us, we wanted to make sure that we're still serving our patrons. And so we went on ahead and brought this online, at least in a phased approach, so that patrons are not being left out. That is why we went on ahead and brought this online the way it is.
Obviously, there's all sorts of factors that impact the way people move about our city. There are all sorts of factors that determine how effective or ineffective any kind of project is. From where you sit as a project manager who's helping to oversee the Rapid A line, what metrics will you be looking at to determine if this new route is a successful endeavor for MARTA?
Yeah, the metrics I will be looking at is how fast we're moving. We're maintaining that 10-minute time frame that we talked about per station, and then seeing the number of patrons actually utilize this route to get to where they need to go in a much quicker fashion, in a rail-like fashion. So those are the two metrics that I will definitely be looking at, as well as trying to see how often we can keep people out of the lane from an education standpoint.
You said something that caught my ear there. You said in a rail-like fashion. Is the idea really almost to think of this as a above ground subway system in some ways, a train system, just a short track system, just, instead it's got wheels?
Yeah, that's exactly what we want to feel like. It is designed to operate exactly like a rail line. So when you're walking out, you walk right onto the bus, similar to the rail line. So it's like we say, it is a rail on rubber tires, essentially.
A rail on rubber tires. That's a good way to put it. Let me ask you this, because there are lots of different constituencies in Atlanta, from avid bus riders to dedicated car drivers to cyclists and walkers and everybody else. Who benefits the most from a new bus line like the Rapid Line?
Yeah, well, obviously, our riders who ride our regular bus routes, they definitely benefit because, again, this gets them to that location faster. But we do want to have many what you call choice riders, those who usually are taking a vehicle normally. This gives them another option to move through the city a lot quicker, as well as those who ride bikes. Bike advocates also can use this to get through the city a lot quicker as well and get to those destinations such as the Beltline.
All right, Bryan Hobbs, the project manager at MARTA for the Rapid A line, giving us a detailed look at this new railway on wheels, so to speak, trying to get people from southeast Atlanta right into the heart of downtown and back as quickly as possible ahead of a major event, the FIFA World Cup, coming to Atlanta. Bryan, thank you very much for your time and your perspective. We really appreciate it.
All right, thank you all.